Back again with another episode of Music Unapologetically.
So good to be back.
Yeah. I almost said highly unapologetic, but we haven't done that in a while. And I don't even know why that was on my brain. But here we are back again, Music Unapologetically. I'm your host, as always, Adam. And again with me tonight, Travis, co-host of the new show. And we're just going to jump right into it, man. So
A lot to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So just as a recap, Greatest Rappers Ever tournament. Jim Fail Nation is goofing it up. Theirs is over.
They're done.
Theirs is done. I will just say, as no surprise, Eminem won.
Surprise, surprise.
Eminem beat Biggie in the finals.
I thought you were kidding.
No, serious.
Okay.
Eminem beat Biggie in the finals, which is blasphemous. And then, as a second and third place, I don't know why he did it. He put Biggie up against Tupac because Tupac beat 50 for the third and fourth game place.
You had 50 against Tupac.
Yes.
I'm surprised Joey Badass didn't make it.
Me too. And T.I. and Nipsey and everyone else. But they did Tupac then against Biggie as a second and third, and Tupac destroyed Biggie.
Is this 1993?
I don't understand his followers. Like, this is the part that makes me so mad. But whatever. We're going to keep doing it our way, and hopefully my followers get it right. Speaking of 50, I have a surprise for you later.
Please.
In regards to 50 Cent.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay. Oh, I won't. I definitely will not forget.
Surprise.
Because it made me happy.
Okay.
Earlier today.
New flavor of vitamin water?
Yes. Loser brand. Loser flavor. But anyways, did you listen to Big L?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you think? Honest opinion.
No, it was great.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
So, get into the office last week.
Right.
Or after our last episode. Prior to the episode, I had a patient I was talking to. I said, hey, we got this bracket that we're going to be talking about with a buddy of mine, this new show we're doing. Super excited about the show. Come back in after we film.
Right.
And after we record the last episode. And he goes, yeah, how'd that episode go? I was like, really good. Hadn't talked about anybody on it.
Right.
Right? First question. Is Big L on there?
Yes.
I said, he's a real one. Right?
Yes.
He's a real one. And I said, yeah, he is. He's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Love Big L.
Okay, so
Love Big L. So when we talked about Big L, we actually, during his appointment, played Big L.
Right.
During his treatment.
So
loved it.
Did you let him know that he lost first round?
I did not.
Okay.
If I couldn't break his heart.
Yeah, don't break his heart. Just let him know that Big L took an accidental L.
A Big L.
Based on...
Big L took a Big L.
I feel like I just feel he took an L because of ignorance. There's people don't know. People don't know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. When we got done recording last week, I played Unexpected Flavor. Right? It was unexpected that he's so good, to people who've never heard of him.
Yeah.
But again, the real hip hop heads say that you put him up against Eminem, he's going to smash Eminem, which I'm cool with.
I mean, I think it would have been interesting
Yeah.
to have Big L versus Eminem in the final for them.
Right.
And then say, before you make a call,
Right.
you have to listen to enough to be able to name 3 songs from both.
I agree with that.
And then make your call from
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So that way you make an educated decision.
Yes.
Right?
I'm into that. I also have a big personal announcement to
Please.
make. Okay, so anybody who knows me musically knows that Wu-Tang Clan
Ain't nothing to...
Right. But and they've been my favorite rap group for years. I'm Team Wu-Tang all the way. But in listening to the playlist that I made, which I can link if anybody wants it, and if anyone cares enough. But in listening to Prodigy alone and Havoc alone, and then listening to Mobb Deep, I think Mobb Deep's my new number one, man. I think if I'm...
That's a big leap.
That is a huge leap because I had them on my personal list like at 4 or 5.
So why the switch?
I don't know. I just started listening to them, and it.
Do you think it just like it's something shiny, it's something new?
No, because I've always liked Mobb Deep.
It's something fresh,
Right? No, I've always listened to Mobb Deep.
That's a big switch. Though.
It is, and I feel like I could move Prodigy up my list. As a one of my favorite rappers, probably into the. I can't remember if he was. I think he was top 10, but. Even closer to the top 5.
Really?
Yeah. So there it is, Mobb Deep. I think
if you got that in your playlist,
oh yeah,
it's a good playlist.
I love Mobb Deep.
I want to listen to your playlist.
Okay, yeah, I'll link it to you. So let's just do this and go over the followers Okay, go.
Before we gave them homework.
We did give
last time.
Yeah.
Whether they did or not, water under the bridge. But one of the other parts of that conversation we had was after we talked about Big L, he asked me if I had heard the new Lemon Pepper.
Okay.
And I said, no, what's this Lemon Pepper? Rick Ross and Drake, both for us, out first round.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes. No, because I would pick Rick Ross over Nipsey. He was just it was a formality that he got.
Where is he? Where?
That first bracket.
You picked Nipsey. Over. Yeah,
okay,
Nipsey
so you picked Nipsey. So, I mean, it's just a formality on that part of the bracket. One of them has to go.
Right.
They both can't just be swallowed up by the sinkhole.
True story.
So, whatever. Okay, so go ahead.
This Lemon Pepper.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Like, it's 6 minutes.
It's a freestyle.
It's a freestyle.
Okay.
6 minutes, you look at it and you're like, 6 minutes.
Right.
But you get into it and you're like, oh, dang, only 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I
could do more of that.
What makes it bearable at first is Rick Ross only has a small part.
Right.
First minute or two.
Yeah.
And it's just Drake.
Right.
And it's like kind of the older Drake.
Right.
Early Drake. A little bit of the, rich gang, rich boy stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's kind of like his old lyrical style, very punny.
Right.
Not so inside joke, you don't understand it.
Right.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It's got a real chill beat, definitely meant to be just like, something you kind of nod your head to. And,
right.
But yeah, if you haven't heard Lemon Pepper,
I'm going to have to check that out.
Got to listen to that.
But speaking of their homework, as the results go, they did not do it. They did not do their homework. So let's jump into it. Go ahead and
nervously.
I will go through the round 2 matchups.
Okay.
You will go through your round 2 matchups and who won in your brackets.
Okay.
And then I'll give the results of round 2. So, bracket A, we've got Jay-Z versus Drake, Method Man versus Nas, Andre 3 Stacks versus Lauryn Hill, Rick Ross versus Ice Cube. Bracket B, Biggie versus T.I., Busta Rhymes versus Lil Wayne, Snoop Doggy Dogg versus A$AP Rocky, Raekwon versus Kendrick Lamar. Bracket C, Tupac versus LL Cool J, Ludacris reluctantly versus Mos Def, Kanye West versus Redman, DMX versus J. Cole. And bracket D down at the bottom, 50 Cent versus Big Pun, Prodigy versus Meek Mill, Dr. Dre versus The Game, and Jeezy versus Eminem. Now, how did your now go through your second round bracket? And how you picked them.
Yeah, some similarities for sure.
Right. And some surprises, like this first round matchup.
Yeah. So I had Jay-Z and Pusha T.
Right.
Method Man and Nas.
Okay.
Andre 3 Stacks, Lauryn Hill. I had Nipsey over Ross. Nipsey and KRS-One. Biggie and T.I.
Uh-huh.
Big Busta Bust. And Lil Wayne. Snoop Dogg. And Killer Mike. Missy. Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac and Scarface, Ghostface versus Mos Def, Kanye and Big Daddy, DMX and Big L, Tech Nine, Big Pun, Prodigy and Meek Mill, Bun B and Talib Kweli, Royce and M.
Man, I went back. Okay, so just a couple of things. That should have been an epic battle between Mos Def and Ghostface Killer.
That'd have been
On
You could have switched them.
yeah, that's what it should have been. Ghostface is much better. Ludacris is not better than Ghostface. And then, I went and man, I was always a big Talib Kweli fan, but he's a weirdo, just like Lupe Fiasco's a weirdo. He's a weirdo, and so I stopped listening to it. Man, I went back and listened to him this week. Yeah, he's so good.
If you go, I think it was on Evolution of Hip Hop. Yeah, I think it was Evolution of Hip Hop. Or one of the shows. I feel like it was Evolution of Hip Hop. It's on Netflix. I think they got 4 seasons now.
Right.
Phenomenal show.
Yeah.
For anybody that's listening that is just like, I recognize a couple of these names.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Go watch.
If you go watch Evolution of Hip Hop from season 1, and it's a super intriguing watch.
Right.
And that, the first 2 seasons almost feels like you're, like, man, we covered so much. But then it just keeps going.
Right.
And then you get into like your Atlanta rap. You get into like your Dirty South Miami rap. Like you get into
Trick Daddy.
Yes, God. Trick Daddy love the kids.
Yeah.
So, but for some of these people that aren't familiar, go watch. But I think Talib was on there in season 3. And you get to see like he's different.
Yeah. He's super different.
He's a weird cat.
He is. Yeah, he's super weird. But Netflix has a lot of good hip hop documentaries. There's a documentary I watched one time. It was about a tattoo artist and a photographer. And the tattoo artist is Mr. Cartoon.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with him, he went on tour with Cypress Hill. He was their tattoo artist.
Interesting. He's a rapper.
He is not a rapper. He is a tattoo artist.
So he tells a story from a tattoo artist.
Yes.
I'm sure Cypress Hill has a lot.
Eminem has tattoos from him. 50 had. All your West Coast rappers have seen Mr. Cartoon. And you're not talking about a $1,000, $2,000. You're talking about $10,000 pieces.
Yeah.
That he's putting on these people.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, go check that. And then his photographer who would photograph the tours and everything along with him. I got to sneeze, man, but it's not coming out.
The new Biggie documentary too. That one was really cool.
I have not seen that one.
So it just came on Netflix last week, and it's basically shot from like VHS camcorder behind the scenes of Biggie, telling like his life story, but then also like on the road,
right,
from behind the curtain.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Cool.
Very well done.
Yeah, Netflix. Go. Hey, Hulu's got the 6ix9ine documentary.
I haven't seen that one. Gotta go watch it.
No, that's stupid.
So many tattoos,
He's
so
stupid.
many colors.
Yeah.
Is it black and white or is it in full color?
No, it's full color, and I'm blinded. Bye.
There it is.
There it went. Oh, man. I got another one probably. Oh, man, sneezes. All right. So, anyways, who wins your matchups? Jay-Z, Pusha T.
Jay-Z won.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Nas beat Method Man. Andre 3000. KRS won. Then in the B bracket, Biggie.
Biggie beat T.I.
Biggie beat T.I. Buster beat Lil Wayne.
Whoa. Are you serious? I like that.
Love Buster.
Okay, cool. You know what? Okay. Best song.
It's a later one. It's one of those later ones. It's not one of like, Break Your Neck or
Yeah.
Throw Some Water on them.
Throw some water on it.
It's just like I just get so hyped. That song just gets like, I don't know. I get into. I love it, and I like I like a lot of his collab stuff.
Yeah.
My
favorite is a collab with Janet Jackson. What's it gonna be?
Oh my God, that's really your favorite?
Yeah. I don't know.
The video?
No. I like the actual song.
Okay.
Questionable?
That's one of the ones I tend to skip.
Oh no.
Playlist.
I don't know. I don't. I think I like the beat the most.
I like Break Your Neck.
Okay, I do too.
This is just good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg over Killer Mike. Missy over Kendrick Lamar.
Now, if I'm going by your bracket, I'm still putting Killer Mike over Snoop Dogg.
I went with Snoop Dogg only because two things: his history in the game and his influence.
Okay.
I mean, just he.
Influence, I'll give you. History, after Doggy Style, he was trash. I think.
I'm saying where he was then.
Okay.
I'm not. I mean, fast forward now. I mean, he had a cool, couple cool hits. Pharrell. And then he went through his whole Snoop Lion phase.
Oh no, Snoop Lion.
But I just mean like his history in the game of like kind of helping to develop that West Coast style. Because Dre alone wasn't going to do it when he went solo.
Right. I was hoping Snoop Lion wouldn't get mentioned on this podcast, but
well, that song with Eddie Murphy.
Horrible. All right, bracket C, man.
Tupac beat Scarface. Mos Def over Ghostface Killer.
I'm okay with that. I would have picked opposite, but I'm not mad about it.
Big Daddy Kane over Kanye.
Oh yeah, easy.
This, after going back, this is a hard one for me.
Feel free to change as you go.
No, this is hard because, again, I think about these artists and like what role they had in my hip hop story, and the Atlanta rappers were the ones that like started it for me.
Right.
Like DMX and Outkast.
Yeah.
Like that style, that was who I got started on. Was Outkast for sure, and then next was DMX. It was just like, so I started in Atlanta, expanded from there. So DMX over Big L only because for me, like if it wasn't for DMX, I wouldn't have the love for hip hop that I do now.
DMX was one of my favorites when I was in high school.
So hard choice, but yeah. Had I known as much about Big L then as I do now, I don't think I'd be able to make a choice.
Yeah.
Because then it'd be like heart versus knowledge.
Right.
Had Pun over Tech 9.
Okay.
Prodigy over Meek Mill. Had Talib over Bun B. And
ooh, that's a hard one for me.
That is a hard one. But Talib, I mean, I love Talib. And then M over Royce da 5'9". Which, again, ironically,
that's like Professor
M
over.
said Royce was one of his top 5. So that's a hard one, too.
I think sometimes Eminem's a little humble. You know what I mean? Because he's never going to throw himself up top.
Yeah.
He never has when he's rapping. So, I mean, that's cool. All right, so let's go over some of these results from our followers for the second round pick. So the first one in bracket A, we had Jay-Z versus Drake, and Jay-Z won. Pretty handily. A lot of these results from the followers on the Instagram page are blowouts. Like there were hardly any close ones.
Which I expect as we get further.
Yeah.
At least until we get to the last two.
Like I think the final 4 and the final 2 will be
neck and neck.
Close. Yeah. Yes. All right. So Nas beat Method Man, and it was not close. Andre 3000 beat Lauryn Hill, and it was not close. Ice Cube destroyed I think Rick Ross had 1 vote. Like 1. Biggie beat T.I. Lil Wayne beat Busta Rhymes. That one was closer than I thought. Busta Rhymes, I think he only lost by 6 or 7 votes, which is...
And that could go either way.
Oh, yeah. Either way. Snoop Dogg destroyed A$AP Rocky. Raekwon beat Missy Elliott. And Kendrick Lamar beat... No, I'm sorry. Snoop Dogg beat A$AP Rocky, and then Kendrick Lamar beat Raekwon.
Got it.
All right. So then, bracket C, Tupac versus LL Cool J. Tupac won that pretty easily. And let me say this. Ludacris is not better than Mos Def.
Most definitely not.
But to our followers, he is. So Luda beat Mos Def, and it wasn't close. And that's another. Ignorance. I think that's another ignorance call. People know who Ludacris is because he's on the radio. He's all over the movies. Where's Mos Def? He's underground. I feel like he is definitely an underground rapper. All right, Kanye versus Redman. Kanye won, and J. Cole beat DMX, which is not true. J. Cole is not better than DMX.
Lie detector test determined that was a lie.
I like J. Cole.
I do like J. Cole. But
J. Cole is one of like 2 or 3 of this new age hip hop that I like. I like him. I like Kendrick Lamar. I like Kid Cudi.
But you
which
also-
Kid Cudi not being on here is
For
a
some of the
travesty.
others, yeah.
Like a Wiz Khalifa,
Yeah.
or a T.I. or Gucci Mane.
But you also you have to take this into account too. Yes, J. Cole's good.
Yeah,
And yes, he's good right now.
right,
But look what we're comparing him to. So when we try to say like, okay, J. Cole's good right now,
right.
he's
When J. Cole
wading through a bunch of mumble rap.
when J. Cole retires and stops making music, then I'll be okay with that choice. You know what I mean? Same thing with Kendrick Lamar. I don't think Kendrick Lamar is better than Raekwon or Missy Elliott.
I'd have put Migos on here over some of these people.
You would have never been asked on this podcast.
Hi.
All right, bottom half. 50 Cent versus Big Pun. 50 Cent won huge. Prodigy won huge over Meek Mill. Dr. Dre won huge over The Game, which that one again is that they're definitely not just taking into the account of Dre the rapper, and they're putting Dre the producer, Dre the beat maker, Dre everywhere.
Game's not bad.
Game's not bad, but he's not better than Talib Kweli.
No. For sure. But he's better than
But
Dre.
he's better than Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Game is not better than Bun B either. And then Eminem destroyed Jeezy, which that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts the following matchups, and I was only gonna do round 2 this week, but I think next week we can or the week after, because we're doing this every 2 weeks. We can finish this out with the last 3 rounds, 8, 4, 2, yeah. All right, so that'll set up a Sweet 16 matchups for Jay-Z versus Nas.
Ether.
I listened to that before we recorded. Andre 3 Stacks versus Ice Cube. Biggie versus Lil Wayne. Snoop Dogg versus Kendrick Lamar. Tupac versus Ludacris. That makes me mad just saying that. Kanye West makes me mad saying that too. Versus J. Cole. 50 Cent versus Prodigy. And Dr. Dre versus Eminem.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's
For
interesting.
their bracket. I mean,
So-
mine won't have that. But I find that interesting.
Now that makes me wonder if he did that on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Like,
can see that.
but not a whole lot else makes sense, so I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
There's a couple of these that are hard. Like, they're painful to think about.
They are painful to think about.
Tupac and Mos Def.
Tupac and Mos Def.
Ugh.
Oh man, that would be. I would pick Mos Def.
You think?
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and do this round?
Yeah, you want to?
Let's do it.
Okay,
I
so-
I need to rip this Band-Aid off because if I have to go home and mull over this,
Okay,
it's
so
gonna hurt to do it.
I want to know who you think won these rounds. Okay.
Between theirs?
But on theirs, okay?
Okay.
So, Jay-Z versus Nas, who do you think won?
Based on their choices.
Based on their choices, who do you think they picked?
Jay-Z.
And who would you have picked?
Nas.
Okay.
Go ahead, throw that in.
Andre 3K versus Ice Cube. Who do you think won? Andre 3K.
No, Ice Cube.
You think Ice Cube won? Who would you have picked?
Between those or on mine?
No, between these two.
I
Andre?
would have picked Andre 3000, yeah.
Okay.
Am I filling mine out here too? Or are
We
waiting?
can in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Biggie versus Lil Wayne. Who do you think they picked?
Because now it's like you're looking at two big name people, but you're looking at also like
Right.
new age and old age.
Right.
I think that they would have picked Biggie only off of relevance.
Okay.
But not knowing why they picked him.
And who would you have picked?
Biggie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg versus Kendrick Lamar.
They picked Kendrick Lamar.
You think they picked Kendrick? And who would you have picked?
Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. Tupac versus Ludacris. Who do you think they picked?
Same thing behind Biggie. I think name. So I think they're gonna go with Tupac.
And who would you have picked?
Tupac.
Okay. Kanye versus J. Cole.
I think they would pick Kanye.
Okay. Who would you have picked?
Kanye.
Kanye. Okay. 50 versus Prodigy. Who do you think they picked?
50.
Who would you have picked?
Prodigy.
Okay. And Dr. Dre versus Eminem.
M and M.
Eminem. I like the way you did that. See, yeah, it was smooth. Okay. I did get to pick. I did vote.
Okay.
Okay. So Jay-Z versus Nas. I voted for Nas. And Nas won.
On their bracket, Nas beat Jay-Z.
I think.
Double check that.
I'm going to double check. I want to say he did win. Nas won 58 to 42%.
And wow.
Nas won.
Wow.
Surprises us, right? All right, Andre 3 Stacks versus Ice Cube. I picked Andre 3 Stacks. And that is who won, and it was not even close, which surprises me because
I am shocked right now.
because Ice Cube killed KRS-One and Ice Cube killed Rick Ross, which that doesn't surprise me.
So far, they're redeeming themselves.
Yes, absolutely. I hate Jay-Z. Have I ever told you that? I can't stand it. His delivery sucks. Everything about him sucks.
Except for his wife.
I think his wife sucks.
Not sick to look at. She's beautiful.
I mean,
And she's talented.
I'm not going to lust over anyone else's wife, you know what I mean?
I'm not lusting.
Oh, okay.
Just stating facts.
Okay.
I'd say it in front of my girlfriend.
All right. Oh, that's fair. All right. Biggie versus Lil Wayne. You think that they picked Biggie. You would have picked Biggie. I did pick Biggie, and Biggie barely won. And that one was back and forth, actually.
Okay.
It started out, because I don't vote right away. And so I let them go a little bit, and then I picked Biggie, and Lil Wayne was winning. And I was like, oh. And then overnight, when I woke up this morning, I looked, and Biggie had taken a lead. And then I looked around lunchtime,
They called
and Lil Wayne had taken a lead. And then right before it was called, I looked, and Biggie won. So it was back and forth, which I'm not mad at. Lil Wayne is widely regarded as a legend. So, okay.
I give it to him.
All right, next, Snoop Dogg versus Kendrick Lamar. You would have picked Kendrick Lamar. I did pick Kendrick Lamar. And I want to say, hang on real quick. We'll go back on this one. See, this one was, Biggie was 56 to 44%. So it was back and forth. Kendrick Lamar destroyed Snoop Dogg, 81% to 19%.
Definitely a bigger margin than I expected.
Yes, me too. Because it's a name. It's a name thing.
That's
and a
what
history thing.
that was my whole MO, trying to think like, I look at their first week
Right,
and trying to think like
right.
a person that would have chosen those.
A person who would have chosen Ludacris over Ghostface type thing.
Yeah,
Or
just like that.
or a ASAP Rocky over Killer Mike. Yeah.
Just like
It's hard to dumb your mind down like that, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, and so then we have Tupac versus Ludacris. You would have picked Tupac. I did pick Tupac. Tupac killed him.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, he should have never made it this far. All right, Kanye.
You mean on the bracket?
No, he deserves to be on the bracket. I listen to him.
I do like Luke.
But
I
I'm
got
not-
nothing bad to say. It's just,
Right.
there's no depth to his lyrics.
Right. Oh, his lyrics are whack. All right, Kanye West versus J. Cole. You would have picked Kanye. You think they picked Kanye. I picked J. Cole, and J. Cole destroyed him.
Really?
Yes.
They must not be listening to old Kanye. Through the Wire.
That's the only Kanye to listen to, because once he got weird, he got weird.
I'm talking like when Kanye was on Chappelle Show Kanye.
Right.
Good Kanye.
All right, I'm going to skip bracket D's first round matchup, 50 versus Prodigy. Okay.
Okay. Is this a surprise? Okay.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to move down to Dr. Dre versus Eminem. All right. Dr. Dre, or you picked Eminem. You think they picked Eminem. I picked Eminem. He won handily. Oh, whoops. All right, so he won. So that's him in the Elite Eight. Now, got a surprise for you, buddy. Last night, I put it up the poll, and 50 Cent versus Prodigy. Mm-hmm. Before I went to bed, it was 60-something to 30-something% 50 Cent. And I did not look at it throughout the day. When it closed, 50-50. They were tied.
You're kidding.
So the surprise is you get to pick who goes to the next round.
Me.
50 Cent or Prodigy.
On that list.
On this list.
That's our followers.
This is our followers. You, my friend, are the tiebreaker.
I'm so honored.
Yeah.
Such an easy choice, too.
And when you said you would pick Prodigy,
So easy.
I went like this inside. Yes.
Oh, it's Prodigy.
Awesome.
It's not even,
And it's not even close.
Even a question.
I was worried about that too. I was like, man, I'm gonna let him pick.
Not even a question.
I even went so far as saying, man, I don't know who he's gonna pick, but I know for sure my son Riley would pick Prodigy, so I may bring him in just so we could get Prodigy through. So let's just now say Prodigy won by 2 votes because I know Riley would have.
Perfect.
I know Riley would have. So this makes
That's
me
a
happy.
democracy.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. So Prodigy is moving on, kicking 50 out. 50 should not have made it past Big Pun. Mm-mm. You don't think 50 should have made it past Tech 9. Mm-mm. And there's your first number 1 seed out the door. Undeserving one seed.
That point needs to be driven home.
With Eminem as your number 2 seed in that bracket.
Just because you're both found by, one generation of Dre after another,
right?
Doesn't mean you're side by side.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because I tell you right now, Dre finds Eminem. I guarantee you, Dre would have never found 50 Cent.
Right. I agree with that. Here's what so I have beef with some rappers. Okay. There are some rappers that when they first come out, I listen to and I love them. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm about to tell you something and I don't want to be judged harshly for it. You can judge me.
It's 2021. You can
just don't
speak freely.
Just don't judge me harshly.
Okay.
I was in high school, a huge Ja Rule fan when he first came out.
You mean DMX too?
Yes, DMX Wannabe.
Volume 2.0.
Right. Okay. So I was a big Ja Rule fan. It's murder. Watch the video and he's out swinging his bandana out the car and he's rapping and I'm like, oh yeah, this dude is. So here's what makes me stop liking rappers.
Okay.
When they get soft and they start like the love raps.
If you say what I think you're about to say, I'm going to be so mind blown out of my head because I also liked Ja Rule until one line in one song, and that was the end of it for me.
Give
I
it
never
to
listened
me.
to it again. Murder Inc. Smile. No. It's just those rainy days. That was it.
There you go.
When he said smile, I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an emotionless person.
Right.
But I'm listening to hip hop because
I'm listening to hip hop
It's a genre
so
and a
I can
lifestyle
get gangster.
that I didn't live.
Right.
So when I'm listening to this guy, I'm like, hey, he's got a deep voice. Sound like DMX.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, Murder Inc. Smile. I'm like, that's like Kevin Hart's stand up was I can never be a rapper. Pew pew, everybody going down.
Yeah.
Pew pew. Did you just say pew?
Exactly
pew?
that.
I can't listen to that.
Okay, so
that was it. That was when that killed it for Ja Rule for me.
So the same thing happened with 50 Cent. He had Get Rich or Die Trying. Mm-hmm. Then he came out with 21 Questions.
Yeah.
And I went, oh man, this is like Ja Rule all over again. Mm-hmm. And what makes me even...
Didn't they beef?
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. What makes me even more upset is when they beefed with Ja Rule, they made fun of him for going soft like that. But 50 did it too.
Exactly.
So you're a hypocrite, 50, and you deserve to get beat by Prodigy by 1 vote.
Or 2.
Or 2, yeah. We'll count Riley's.
Count Riley's vote.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
And you made vitamin water.
okay, so
He made $50 million off of it.
so I'm not
But
mad
I'm
at
not-
I'm not mad at a dude's hustle. You
I'm
know what
not
I mean?
either, but I hate vitamin water.
Yeah.
It just doesn't taste good.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if it tasted good, I'd be like, okay.
It's like you take your last 3 gulps of Gatorade
After
And-
it's hot.
and then pour water in it. And you've got just that little itty bitty bit of Gatorade flavor.
I would highly recommend to all people, don't ever drink like the 0-cal vitamin waters.
Yeah. I
They're
wouldn't.
worse than worse.
Oh, yeah?
They're
Like tasting or for you?
so imagine your muted Gatorade flavor. Now add chemical sweetener to it.
Oh, nice.
It's exactly what it tastes like.
Oh, cool. The cancer sweetener. What do they call that? You're a doctor.
I play one on TV.
Yeah. What do they call the sweetener?
Well, there's a bunch of them.
That gives you cancer.
There's saccharin.
I think that's
That's
the
the
one.
sweet and low.
Yeah.
Then you got like the sucralose, which is your Splenda.
Yeah. I think
Maltodextrose.
I think the first one you
equal,
said is what I was-
saccharin.
yeah,
the
saccharin.
pink pack. Mm-hmm. Not good.
not good.
Not good.
And that's what all your diet sodas are made with.
A lot
Just
of
so
them-
y'all know.
A lot of them are made with sucralose now, Splenda.
Oh,
And
Splenda.
stevia. Stevia, I'm a fan of.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Not going on a tangent, but
No, let's go.
so there's artificial sweeteners get a bad rap.
Okay.
The truth is there's no research that says they're actually bad for you.
Right.
The research that out there that does say like, oh, this stuff could be bad for you. If you look at the volume that they gave rats to induce like carcinogens and things,
Yeah.
it'd be the equivalent of a human eating like 50 kilos of this stuff in a day. So you have to eat like half your body weight
Yeah.
or more in this stuff.
You're gonna have to have a plug.
If you ate half your body weight, drank half your body weight in water a day, it would kill you.
Oh,
Nobody's
really?
gonna be like, "Oh, water, this terrible thing for you."
Yeah.
How about volume, man?
Oh, okay.
So don't be scared of artificial sweeteners,
Interesting.
but they don't all taste good.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any of them taste good, really. You like the one?
I like stevia.
Yeah, stevia.
I like stevia.
Yeah. You said stevia, and I thought that was
Green packet.
was one of the. Never mind. I was going to go on a marijuana tangent, but we'll skip that. So, anyways, okay. So for next week,
Are we doing my third?
yeah, we'll do. Yeah,
Okay.
give me just 1 second.
Please, 'cause
let me
it's a
set.
Band-Aid
Let me set up these awesome Elite Eight
for them.
for them.
Okay.
The awesome Elite Eight brackets. And this is what we expected. Now we're into the good teams. We're not watching Kansas beat Bradley or North Carolina
For any
beat,
of our Bradley listeners, he didn't mean that.
or Bradley against Texas State, or not Bradley, North Carolina versus Texas State. Now we're into your
Duke.
Duke versus Kentucky, Kansas
Nova.
versus UCLA. Nova versus
Florida back in the late 2000s.
yeah. That's where we're at now. All right,
I'm here.
So, bracket A championship, Nas versus Andre 3 Stacks, which is going to listen. Okay, I'll just go. Biggie versus Kendrick Lamar, which is surprising. I thought it was going to be Biggie and Snoop. Tupac versus J. Cole, which is surprising. It should be DMX or Redman in there for J. Cole. Prodigy versus Eminem. I hope. And right now, and listen, Prodigy to me is like a UCLA or a Kansas. He's a heavy hitter. But right now, against Eminem, and based on how the followers have voted, he's a UTSA right now.
Yeah.
And I hope UTSA pulls that upset.
That'd be a good one.
Oh, man. If he goes Final Four against Tupac or J. Cole, I'd be satisfied if he got beat in the Final Four. But Prodigy M, Tupac, J. Cole, Nas, Andre 3000, Biggie versus Kendrick Lamar. That is the Elite Eight, and we will set that up to be talked about in 2 weeks. Now, let's get on to your bracket. Go over the matchups again and pick your winner, and I'll pick my winner on yours.
It's amazing the level of anxiety that builds as we get close to the C bracket.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bracket, Jay-Z and Nas.
Ether.
It's ether all day.
When you have a song that admits that you got destroyed by a rapper, that rapper should beat you. So Nas it is.
Oh, for sure. Already written down.
Yeah.
Andre 3000 and KRS-One.
That's a tough one.
This is a very tough one because you're talking about two giants.
Two
A
giants.
little bit more history, one the other. A little bit more influence in the industry over the other.
My only knock on Andre 3000 is that he has so much. Most of everything that we ever hear is with Outkast.
Is Outkast, yeah.
However,
but then you look when you break these songs apart and listen to each of their pieces, it's clear that Andre is a more artist when it comes to.
so the story goes, Andre 3000 and Big Boy were battle rappers back in the day in Atlanta. And they were doing some kind of battle, and there was a producer or whatever that said, I've got one contract. I can sign one of you. And they were rival battle rappers. They don't like each other. Or you can be a group, and I'll sign both of you as one group. And Outkast was born.
And for more information on Outkast, please turn into Netflix Evolution of Hip Hop Season 3.
Is that in it?
I don't recall the battle rap duo,
Right.
but there is an entire storyline behind it.
Okay.
Because they tell how basically in that episode it talks about how they kind of kickstarted the
Right.
Atlanta rap scene.
Right.
And the Source Awards that they showed up to and won like Best New Artist, and like all the West Coast and East Coast guys were giving them like booing them.
Yeah.
And then Andre was like, "We're here to stay. Like,
Yeah.
y'all say what y'all want, but we're here to stay."
Oh, yeah.
And
I
they
mean,
killed it.
I guess I should have started that story off with, please don't quote me, because the story goes. But that's what I've heard. I've heard that a couple of times.
I would not doubt if that piece was in there
Yeah.
because I mean it's not just like a mention of them. Like
Right.
they
It's
go
a-
into some detail.
it's a whole
it'd be
segment.
easy to like start from when they were signed,
Right.
versus like the history of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love KRS-One.
Me too.
I really do. I feel like a lot of like I mean people sample his stuff now. It's, to this day, his stuff's getting sampled.
Yep.
There's styles that are built off of him. It's hard to say this because Outkast was the group that started hip hop for me.
Right.
They were. They were the group that I found that I fell in love with. NWA was actually the first. My brother had an NWA cassette that I used to listen to.
So
But
same story with my brother and I. He had an AT Aliens cassette.
okay. So the first hip hop CD that I had was Aquemini.
Oh, nice. It's a
The
good one.
first song of theirs that I ever learned every single lyric was Rosa Parks.
Oh, nice.
Then learned every single lyric to Bombs Over Baghdad.
Hush that fuss.
So as much as it hurts me to say this, and as big of a piece of like hip hop history to me as Outkast is, I feel like I got to be real to my heart and say that KRS is a better rapper
Okay.
than Andre.
The only thing that I will knock on KRS versus Andre is the beats. I prefer
I agree.
Outkast beats.
No, I agree.
So I would pick Andre based on that alone.
I agree.
Only that.
But if you put KRS-One on an Outkast beat,
If you put KRS-One in place of Big Boy in Outkast, Outkast is your best
duo,
hip hop group
Southern hip hop.
ever.
Yeah.
They're better than Wu-Tang. They're better than, I think, Mobb Deep. They're better than Bone. They're better than NWA. They're better than Cypress Hill. They're better than. Well, I'm gonna hold that because we'll have a little time once you're done with this, and we'll talk some more hip hop unrelated to
that hurt to do.
the tournament. But I would pick Andre.
I love him, but I just feel like KRS, just that style. It's just, there's it just keeps going. Like Andre has his space. KRS is like timeless. As long as there's hip hop, you will see KRS stuff forever.
Absolutely.
Okay, Biggie and Busta.
Oh, that's a hard
That is
one. Let me say something controversial real quick. If you do Biggie versus Busta Rhymes with dreads only, dreaded, muscled out Busta Rhymes, doing the same like Fish Islands videos and baggy trash bag videos that Missy Elliott was doing, I'm picking Busta Rhymes over Biggie.
Here's the thing. I don't want a Biggie and Tupac finals. I don't
either.
I don't want that.
That's too cliche.
That's wasted weeks and time of talking. We could have just done that from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Remember last week I said if we could do maybe a mini bracketed tournament of hip hop artists that are no longer with us.
Right.
Then I see, okay, now we can, it makes sense to put these two together.
So that's me.
Okay, now I'm with you.
Now, Busta Rhymes, after he cuts his hair off, gets a little fat, that's like when in the 90s, when Metallica got haircuts and called themselves alternative.
Well, they had to sell records.
They had to sell records, but their music, they had one or two decent songs after that.
Well, the same thing with Busta Rhymes, though.
Right.
He cut his hair. He's had some flops, but he's also had...
He's had a couple.
Bangers after that.
So, that being said, I would pick Biggie based on the latter part of Busta Rhymes' music catalog.
But we also can't see what Biggie would have done.
That's true.
And Biggie could have gone...
Biggie could have done the same thing. Biggie could have got skinny.
Gone all radio hits.
And gone horrible, yeah.
Or turned like Snoop Dogg.
Oh, no. I hope my favorite rappers never end up like Snoop Dogg.
Here's what I'm gonna... I agree with you on the time frame for Busta. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, what ifs for Biggie, blah, blah, blah. I loved Busta's songs.
Yeah.
Unique style. No one else like it. It's so recognizable. But it wasn't lyrically special.
Right.
Biggie had, like, Hypnotize alone. Just the flow and just like that thing we showed you last week. Mm-hmm. That the deconstructing hip hop.
Yes.
Just how smooth he was.
Yeah.
And at the time frame of breaking over the bar, multi-syllable rhymes, crossing things, returning back to previous bars.
While you're telling a whole story.
Yes.
While
Smooth.
you're telling an entire story.
So as much as I love Busta, I think Biggie's style and his ability to be that smooth takes a cake.
I would have picked Biggie. I would have put Biggie through.
I do love Busta. Just want that to be on the record.
Me too, man.
On the record. Snoop Dogg and Missy. Surprising. This is actually an easy choice for me.
It is.
Very easy. Missy over Snoop Dogg all day.
You're right.
Missy's
it's crazy because
that's my redemption for not picking Busta.
So, okay, I'm with that.
Because
those Virginia rappers suck. The Timbaland. Okay, so I take that back. I like Timbaland and Magoo. Magoo, they came out with a 100 worst rappers of all time.
Yeah.
And Magoo was number one.
Really?
And it broke my heart.
Who's number two?
I don't remember. But,
Killer Mike?
Or
no, Joey Badass?
But you will like to know Ludacris was on that list of worst rappers ever.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It's wild to me. But Missy... for being found by Timbaland and whatever, she was definitely the top tier of the Virginia rappers.
And I'm trying to really take away from everything else but there's like, and you can argue that both ways, you know, like, is it just look at how they rap, how their lyrics are, their flow, their word choice, like just the craft.
Right.
Versus the impact
Yeah.
and the song and everything else.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, that's also really important because if you can't catch someone's attention, it's hard for them to see your style.
Right.
So it's like, do we include it? Do we not? Anyway.
I think Missy Elliott took Timbaland style to a whole
Oh, for sure.
upper,
For sure.
you know.
If it wasn't for Missy,
to-
Timbaland wouldn't have.
Yeah.
No.
All right, go ahead. Tupac versus Mos Def.
I have to skip this one.
Let me make my pick.
This is hard. This is the hardest one.
I think, like Biggie, Tupac tells a story, but he does it compared to Biggie, in a Walmart brand way.
Very aggressive.
Yeah. So my pick would be Mos Def.
Good to know. Moving on. We're going to come back. That's going to be my last one that I choose. Because that is literally like that's,
Good to know.
That one to me is
That's funny.
that's the hard one.
Okay, go ahead.
Big Daddy Kane and DMX. I like Big Daddy Kane. I'm going to go opposite kind of the thought process behind here. I think Big Daddy Kane was good. I think he did a lot for hip hop, but I still think DMX. I
Yeah.
prefer. I search DMX music. I don't search Big Daddy Kane music.
Right. I like I said it last week. I get in the car going, man, haven't heard DMX in a while. I've never done that with Big Daddy Kane.
For sure. Pun and Prodigy. Prodigy all day.
Who's the best to you? Who's the best Mobb Deep rapper? Prodigy or Havoc? I don't think
I
that-
had to say Prodigy.
Yeah, me too.
Just you look at.
But it's not like Prodigy.
No, it's
Havoc.
close.
It's Prodigy Havoc.
It's close.
Yeah.
I like Prodigy's flow.
yeah. Cool.
Talib Kweli and M. This to me is equally hard. Actually, this is less hard than Tupac. M over Talib all day.
If there was going to be a rapper before Prodigy in that bracket to take out Eminem, it was Talib Kweli.
I could agree with that. I could agree with that.
Cool.
So Tupac and Mos Def.
Tupac.
I agree with you. I agree with your choice. With your feelings on it. And this goes back to like that same thing, man. Is it the impact? Is it this? Is it that? And I feel like this is gonna I know this is gonna upset a lot of people when I say this,
Good.
but I feel it.
A lot of people are upsetting me with these picks.
I feel like Tupac was the Miley Cyrus of the rap game. Like shock value in your face. I'm on the streets, West Coast gang, Machiavelli. Like he talked about a lot of controversy. He had some really good songs.
Right.
I would never. I would say his anthology of music
Right.
is great.
Right.
But I have said it so many, and I'm not letting this get into the way. But Mos Def has been one of my favorite hip hop artists
Same.
from the beginning.
Same.
And as much as I love Tupac, I got to go with Mos Def.
I'm cool with that.
And to get rid of Talib and to have Talib out and Mos Def out,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah. You got to leave one of the Black Stars. I've got a buddy
That hurt.
who runs a podcast called Socially Irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Damien. Damien's one of the first people I texted when the guy set up this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to text him soon. So shout out to Damien and Socially Irresponsible Podcast. But I need to text him and get his feelings on Tupac because I think him and I have talked about it before, and he is the same as you. He'll listen to him, but he's not like, oh, he's the greatest ever. Da, da, da. He's got negative opinions in regards to Tupac.
How you talked about earlier when I get in the car.
Yeah. I've never done that with Tupac either. If it comes on, I'm going to listen to it, but
And I will get in the car and put Mos Def's album from '08,
Yeah.
The Quiet Dog Bite Hard. Mm-hmm. I will actively search that.
Yeah.
He's got Slick Rick on it.
Yeah.
He's got new stuff.
Man, there's another one that should have been on this list. Slick
Slick
Rick.
Rick.
Yeah.
Storytelling, baby.
Because if it wasn't for Slick Rick, there might not be a Snoop. I don't know.
So it's the other thing I look at now, as we get down to this, the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And you look at
that's an Elite Eight.
or Elite Eight. Sorry, your
Yep.
Elite Eight. I look at this, and I'm surprised at a couple of the names here because you think like, okay, based on this, we're saying these are the 8 best rappers of all time.
Of all time.
And I'm looking at this, and like, there's some that I'm very solid about, and some that I'm surprised that made it this far because I wouldn't have thought I would have gotten them there. But after going through this, it makes me even rethink them more.
I will say this. Your bracket and this bracket, these are not the best 8 rappers of all time. They're just not.
Agreed.
There's no other way to say it. These are not the best 8. Some of them maybe. Nas, 3 Stacks, Biggie, Tupac, Prodigy. I'll say yes. So, when I did my top, I think we did 40. It was like 15. It was like 15 for me. So, I would have Pun. Definitely. Who else did I have? Mos. Mos was in my top 10 or top 8. Nas, Method Man was in mine because he's my favorite rapper. So
I think it'd be interesting if you and I sat down
I made a list
and just in a very like fair, unbiased, seated them
Yeah.
the right way.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then swapped out some of the ones like, put a Slick Rick in, put,
So-
some of the other ones that we had talked about in the past, put those in and be fair, right?
So here's my plan. Okay, we're gonna finish this greatest rappers of all time tournament in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna get into some other music. We're gonna put hip hop to the side for a while. We're gonna talk about some rock and some classic rock, and if you want to talk about some country or folk or some jazz,
EDM.
if you want. I'm not familiar with a whole lot of it, but if you want, you can.
We'll go down the rabbit hole on some
I mean, you can school me because that's what I want with this podcast is to school people, not in a way that disregards what they're listening to, but in a way of, hey, check this out, you might like it,
For sure.
type thing. We got a little bit of time, and what I want to talk about right now, because once we get down into the rock and all the other stuff, I may forget. Okay, hip hop groups, we've talked about some. Okay, and I just want to point out my disappointment in some followers, because after I put the Sweet 16 roundup yesterday and the day before, I did it just for funsies.
Yeah.
Poll, 2 of them. Wu-Tang versus Mobb Deep. Wu-Tang killed Mobb Deep. I'm not mad about it because I'm newly to Mobb Deep being
You're
number
newly
1.
deep.
Yeah, I'm newly mobbed up. And then I put Outkast versus the Beastie Boys. And I was very, very disappointed. I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. I love the Beastie Boys.
I feel like they don't get
I agree.
the credit
At
that they deserve.
100%. Now, if I took them all and did solo, they would not end up on these. But together, they are by far one of the best hip hop groups to ever get on the mics.
I feel like you can't even have a discussion about hip hop
Groups
groups.
without Beastie Boys.
Not even like it's
They're pioneers. I just wanted to point that out.
when the last thing. I mean, and even like the later part of the of their
Intergalactic?
of their music, Intergalactic, like that
was a
song
great
so
album.
amazing.
Yeah.
It got big time TV time,
Right.
big time radio play.
The rest of the album was fantastic too. I don't know, man.
I'm with you on the Beastie
I
Boys.
love the Beastie Boys. And I would say if I had to do a top, what we need to do is we need to do like a top 16 tournament for the groups. Because there's not a whole lot of like groups that are like
Good.
great.
Yeah.
You got your Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Outkast,
Bone Thugs.
Beastie.
Beastie.
NWA, Beastie. You got Cypress Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got your De La Soul, A Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe is
great. Who else you got?
Black Star.
Well, they only had one album, though. Which, I mean, I would still put them on there.
If we needed 16.
Yeah, if we need, yeah, you're right. There's just not a whole lot of great.
Crisscross.
Yeah.
I mean,
Naughty by Nature.
not even.
You could fill out a 16 team bracket
Yeah.
or group bracket. And I
Public
would.
Enemy.
Yeah. Public Enemy is a good one. And I would easily put the Beastie Boys in the Final Four
Yeah.
with ease. I wouldn't care who they went against. I wouldn't care if they went against Outkast, Wu-Tang. They shouldn't get beat as bad as they may have got 3 votes yesterday. Wild to me. I don't get it.
And I have to say gut reaction. Like 3, 2, 1, go. Best group. Just without doing the bracket, just like go.
Mobb Deep. I'm on that train now, man.
I'm Outcast.
Outkast would be 3 for me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Who's 2?
It would go Mobb Deep,
Wu-Tang.
Outkast.
I would do.
And then probably Beastie Boys right after that.
I'd have Outcast, Wu-Tang, Tribe,
Tribe is so good.
and then Beastie Boys.
And then Cypress Hill would round out my top 5.
R.I.P. Five Talk.
Yeah. Moment of silence. But yeah, so that's about all we got for hip hop tonight. We're going to get back together in 2 weeks. We'll finish this tournament out. Just as a preview of what I want this show to be. I've got some ideas written down, and we're going to dive into them. One of them being nostalgic music. What music takes you back?
Doom, 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 doom. I've got sunshine.
Okay, well, I wasn't expecting you to go that far back. But yeah, nostalgic music. What music you listened to before an event, like a sporting event or whatever, that got you like in the zone. We will sit here and maybe I'll have a guest on for this one, but we'll make a When You're High playlist. What you're listening to.
I don't get high though.
I don't get high
we have
either.
to have a guest.
I don't get high either, but we're gonna pretend.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe have like a beer or two.
I'll just have it. I'll have it. I'll just put it out there. I used to get high,
No comment.
but we'll make a playlist of what you're relaxing to.
That would be a good one.
Oh, it's gonna be a great playlist.
That'd be very good.
What else did I have?
We got to do a versus,
We should do a versus.
like boy bands.
I want to do best covers,
Okay.
cover music, just stuff like that. And throughout these episodes, I want to give people something that maybe I listen to that you probably have never heard of before to go check out.
I like that.
Type thing. You know what I mean?
Do like a 3 to 5 song mini playlist.
Right.
Go listen to these.
So, since we're talking about hip hop, we'll do this right now. Give somebody something that they may not have heard, but they should definitely go check out.
So should we go based off this?
Go on whatever you want, because I am going to give them a group to listen to that is nowhere near this or the groups we just talked about.
Okay. I know we touched on it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm certain that some of the younger guys, and there's no knock, have never heard Ether.
Yes.
If you have not heard Ether, you cannot call yourself a hip hop.
What is the name of the Jay-Z song where he admits was it The Takeover?
I think it was Takeover. I think it was Takeover.
Takeover. Yeah. So yeah, go listen to Ether and then Takeover.
Ether for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So my group that you need to go listen to, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Cool Kids. You need to go check out the Cool Kids. It's just two guys. I don't even know what they go by as far as their names. One of them calls themselves Mikey Rocks.
Okay.
But it's weird hip hop, but it's good. It's catchy, real catchy.
Cool Kids. All right.
Yeah, the Cool Kids. So y'all go check that out. Like, subscribe, and share. Look for us on the Highly Unapologetic. All the pages affiliated with that podcast. I'm just going to keep going on that. And share with your friends. Go listen to some good music. And until next time, Travis and I will catch y'all later.